Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Streamable Horror. Today we're going to be looking at the movie Grave Encounters, which is now available on Amazon Prime. So now let's get on with the plot. The movie is about a TV crew who work on the show called Grave Encounters going to an asylum, but then suddenly they get locked in there with no way out, and then they realize stuff is not going as it seems as they start to realize ghosts are haunting them and are starting to attack them. It's basically just paranormal activity in an asylum. So I don't really like this plot. It's not very good. It's just paranormal activity in an asylum, which is kind of lame, and it's been done to death. It just feels like a dumb haunted house movie. It feels like if you could get better scares from going to an actual haunted house than watching this movie, because the plot is not very good, and it's just such a simple and boring plot that it's been done to death. There's so many movies that go to asylums to make something scary. It kind of doesn't after a certain point. It's like Outlast, but ghosts. So think about it as Outlast, the movie. Outlast, a movie version with ghosts. So that's basically what it is. So it's not anything special, and let's get on to the next part. This movie is not very graphic at all until maybe the end of the movie, when they start to go insane at the bottom of the basement and whatever. And when he starts killing rats, that's when it gets kind of disgusting. But besides that, this film's pretty tame, and the gore level is pretty low. The face distortion can be a little weird in some scenes, but all the violence and gore is kind of obscured because everything something scary happens. It's kind of uses like this weird blur effect, so you can't really see it. So you're not gonna really see anything. So the violence and gore is not too much. It's really easy to handle. This is kind of like a sit down and do whatever you want movie, because it's not very boring, but it's just all the gore is kind of obscured, so you don't really see it. So don't expect it to be a super gory film, but also don't expect it to be too tame, because there's some scenes that are pretty graphic, just obscured. So it's really hard to say anything on this one, because it can get graphic when it wants to, but when it is graphic, it usually obscures it with this weird blurring effect. So you won't be able to see it, so it's very strange how they did it. But yes, it is pretty graphic, but it's also not at the same time. This film also isn't very scary either, due to the fact that all the scares in this movie are all obscured, leading it to not being very scary whatsoever in general, because every time there's a jump scare in the movie, there's a weird glitch effect that kind of ruins the whole feel of it. So the movie is not very scary at all, and every time that there is one of these jump scares effects, it just ruins all the tension that it was building up to. So then there's really no point in watching it, because it's just ruining all the tension. It's just, there's no scare factor to it. There's all build up, and then when it builds up to that, when that payoff finally happens, it doesn't feel good because it's ruined, because every time there's that weird glitch effect that ruins all the tension. So that is why the horror is not very good in this movie, because every time it happens, you're not scared, because all the payoff is ruined due to them throwing in that weird glitch effect, which I just hated. For my final thoughts, I thought it was a fun watch, but it still was not a very good horror film, especially for what it was trying to go for. And it was kind of ruined, because if they had not put in those glitch effects, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But since they did that, which kind of showed that it was a low budget, it made me kind of upset with it, because then it could have been a lot better. But besides that, it was just a fun movie, but there was too many things holding it back. So that is why I'm finally going to say I would not recommend this movie. This is my first not recommend, and it's because I just didn't like this movie at all. It was kind of just too boring, and the middle part was just way too slow. And the jump scares in this were not very good. It was not very effective or creepy in any way. And I would recommend this for only really people that are a little bit too tamer for watching horror films, because this one's pretty tame. But it's like Paranormal Activity, where it's anybody can really watch it. But yeah, I don't recommend this movie. So see you guys next week. And Streamable Horror is out.
Like and subscribe for more amazing content.